Hi folks. In this video I'm going to provide an overview of the AnyHazard user interface. Now AnyHazard has some really impressive features that allow you to customize your Simtable experience, but today we're just going to take a peek at the software and get an orientation about how to use it, what it does, and how you can begin your Simtable journey. Stick with me. Hi folks. I'm Steve Graydon, lead trainer at Simtable. If you're new to using the Simtable or you're interested in using a Simtable, this video is going to walk you through exactly what you need to know about using the core software that runs on the Simtable, AnyHazard. So AnyHazard can also be accessed on a laptop or desktop through our user license agreement, and today I will be demonstrating from a PC. So to start, we're going to review the AnyHazard UI by going around the interface to each feature. Now this video will leave some room for some more in-depth tutorials on how to use some of the models and the tools to realize your specific vision for the Simtable. So please check in the description below and visit our support page at simtable.com for more training content. You'll find more videos there like the evacuation model demonstration, a tutorial on how to integrate GIS, and a user favorite that shows folks how to set up their Simtable hardware. Okay, here we go. Looking at the upper left side of the screen, you will see a software version number and the laser status indicator. I see that my browser is running version 2.40.12, which is the current version. If you are uncertain if your version is up to date, you can reload the browser page or close your Chrome browser and relaunch the AnyHazard application on your Simtable. Now keep an eye on this section of your screen for any messages or prompts to update the software version, and make sure to update your system's operating software to keep all of your software current and compatible. Also in the top left of the screen is the laser status indicator. Since my computer is not utilizing the Simtable hardware package, my laser status is off. However, for those of you using a proper Simtable, you should see a green on, or if something requires support, it will appear as a yellow off. Go ahead and make sure your Wi-Fi connection is good and that your software is up to date, and then reach out to support@simtable.com to get help resolving the issue. Moving down along the left side here, we see our wind speed and direction indicator. To modify the wind direction and speed, simply click and drag the arrow or somewhere on the dial and modify the winds to suit your desired conditions. Consider this wind to be consistent with a 20-foot wind and not a mid-flame wind speed. This is one of the main ways to influence the spread and direction of a fire or plume. The next thing to keep in mind is the scale. Near the bottom left, the scale bar is a good reference when you're designing a scenario. I try to encourage folks to keep the scale of the scenario as small as possible without leaving out areas that should be included in the modeling space. The purple frame shows us the extent of the modeling area and where you can run car, fire, plume, or water simulations. We cover more about creating a map scenario in the new map scenario tutorial available in the description below and on the Simtable support page. So that covers all the software update considerations, the laser status info, the scale reference bar, and how to control the wind. Let's move into the menus and some additional simulation controls now. On the bottom left of the screen, we have the scenario menu. Selecting the menu will provide you with a grid list of your scenarios and some options on top. In this case, we have all of the stock scenarios with the custom scenario I am using highlighted in blue. You will see the three options at the top of the menu for creating scenarios using a map location, a sand scenario, or by duplicating a scenario. The map location and duplication functions can be used on a computer, but a proper Simtable is necessary to create a sand scenario, which uses our proprietary method of capturing the shape of the terrain that a user creates. When selecting the Layers menu, users will see multiple categories of layers that they have available. The layer categories are base maps, overlays, simulation layers, and device layers. Users can select the best base map for the purpose of their scenario and toggle overlays and simulation layers to provide additional information or to compartmentalize what information is shown on the table and when. Of these categories, the user can add GIS files to the device layers group. These files can include feature services, incident maps or GeoPDFs, map or image services, and KMLs and other formats. Please see our video on device settings update to get an in-depth review of the AnyHazard GIS capabilities and methods for integrating and organizing your spatial information. The progression menu is also customizable like the scenario and layers menus. I have the stock progressions included in my menu here, but I can add or remove any progression I want and search for other fire events in the progression library. This function is also explained in the device settings update video, and if you want to take a look, it's in the description below. Progressions are animations of a fire or flood event based on perimeter data, time of arrival data, or through custom development. If you don't see an important fire or flood in our library, reach out to support@simtable.com to see if it can be added to your table. The simulation controls are used to stop, start, reset, or speed up and slow down a scenario or progression. All models being used in a given scenario are affected by these controls, and the scale of the scenario will also influence how things move at a certain rate of time. You may need to keep it slow when running the traffic and evacuation simulation, and it is often a good idea to keep the speed slow until you hit a point when you need to dial it up. So the last feature in this part of the tutorial, we have the checkpoint function. Toward the bottom right of the AnyHazard interface, you will see the checkpoint icon. Setting a checkpoint allows the user to establish a custom reset point. This checkpoint will capture all of the current model data, including the wind, fire, and fire resources, and any annotation information or fuels modifications, all aspects of the scenario you are running. This checkpoint can be updated and bypassed if desired. Stay tuned for additional tutorials to help leverage the checkpoint function for creating a series of scenarios that have repeatable starting points and established wind and resources built in. Simply reset to a checkpoint and run that scenario again. Okay, so that bit covers a lot of key info about layers, progressions, and scenario creation, duplication, and setting checkpoints, as well as the speed controls for the simulations. For this final section of the tutorial, we'll be taking a quick look at the different simulation models, tools, and some of the final UI components. Looking up to the top right, we will start with the default model tool, the Info tool. The Info tool provides GPS point location and elevation, and the fuel model type and density for any point within the scenario boundary. Historical fire names can also be viewed with the Info tool when the overlay is selected. It is a good habit to select the Info tool when shaping the sand or when participants might want to reach into the projected scene. The Pan and Zoom tool enables users to scale up or down or to navigate around the map. You will need to select this tool to move your view on a proper Simtable as well as on a computer. Apart from the certain overlays and simulation layers, GIS layers are visible regardless of the scenario boundary, allowing a user a friendly way to visualize GIS data to help with scenario design or presenting more context around a specific hazard or planning consideration. The Home button allows for one-click repositioning back to the default scenario view. So the fire model includes many components and will be covered more in other videos. But to give you a good overview, we'll cover some specific functions and outline the suppression tools in the menu. First and foremost, we have the igniter. This is how you initiate the fire model. The fire model incorporates fuel model data, elevation data, barriers, and wind influences. Now, fire spread can and should be modified to meet a user's expectations by altering the wind speed and direction, and if needed, by adjusting the fuel type or density. Different suppression resources and barriers can also be used to simulate production rates and the effects of roads. Select Stamp Roads to slow the fire spread by creating barriers on all known roads. Deploy road-based resources like engines or ambulances, cut line with hand crews and dozers, or activate aviation resources to drop on the fire. Users can change production rates and create variable line stability to either control or slow the fire. The Fuel Painter allows for editing the type and density of surface fuels that are retrieved from the most current available land fire dataset and classified by the Anderson 13 fire behavior fuel model and non-burnable types. Customers outside of the U.S. can work with our team to create a custom fuel model palette associated to the Anderson 13 types, or users will have a default tall grass type across the train that can be modified to reflect their native fuels. In any case, the fuel data is our primary source of control over the fire model. Fuel density can be adjusted to reflect mitigation efforts or to create expected spread characteristics of a real or imagined fire. The default fuel density is set to 100% and can be edited with multiple brush sizes that are relative to the scale of the scenario. Don't be afraid to zoom in and then get to painting to smooth out the rough edges of that 30-meter data. It helps. It should be noted that the only way to reset both the density and the fuel type is through the Fuel Painter tool. You cannot reset the fuels through the main reset, which is meant to protect users who have done fuel editing and do not wish to lose those edits when they reset the main, model, or fire interface. The water simulator includes 3 model tools: the rain, watershed, and release tools. The rain tool simulates rain across the landscape and can help visualize collection points, debris flow from high severity burn areas, or to draw attention to landscape features like drainages and basins, while folks shape the sand to the terrain. The watershed tool creates a point-based watershed polygon from any point on the map. This tool is helpful in visualizing topographic relationships and drainage patterns. The release tool simulates a dam breach with a default amount of 33 feet of water. This tool can help visualize areas that would likely be impacted in the event of a dam failure or flooding situations. The plume model simulates the spread of different gases in the atmosphere. Smoke is the default emitter, but users can select different gases with different properties of dispersal and collection based on topography and wind influences. Emitter points can be created by simply clicking a point on the map. Users can leverage advanced plume functions through the clipboard application. Our final simulation model is the cars model. Upon selection, you will see the Paint Cars function and the different evacuation tools in the Cars menu. Users can draw evacuation areas and destination points and utilize existing zone designations with the Template tool, and change the status of evacuation areas as they go. See our evacuation demonstration video in the video description below and at the Simtable support page. Accessing the AnyHazard device settings will allow users to customize their scenario menu, progression menu, and GIS integration. See the device settings update tutorial video for more information. The 2 remaining options in the AnyHazard UI are the Clipboard Link Share and the Hide UI toggle. The Clipboard Link allows users to share edit access to their current scenario. The clipboard is where users and participants in a dispersed training situation can interact with the scenario being run on AnyHazard. Please let us know in the comments if you would like to hear more about advanced tools like using the clipboard in future videos. Clicking the Hide UI button simply clears off the menus and controls for a complete view of the map scene. Alright, there you have it folks. That's the AnyHazard user interface in under 15 minutes. Please like and subscribe to the Simtable Videos channel and give us some feedback in the comments section about other tutorials you'd like to see in the future. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.